When the church doors opened and everyone stared at me, I knew something was terribly wrong. My hands were shaking as I sat alone in the back seat of the car. The wedding drums were loud outside. People were laughing, taking pictures, and walking into the church in beautiful clothes. But I, the mother of the bride, was sitting in a parked car like a stranger. "Mom, just stay in the car for now," my daughter Lisa had said. "Please, I'll come back for you." Then she walked away in her white dress, without even looking back. I watched guests pass by. Some peeped into the car, then pretended not to see me. My wrapper was neat, my blouse was ironed, but I could feel it. I did not fit into their shiny world. Time felt very slow. The sun was hot on the roof of the car. My old knees hurt. Still, I waited. At last, the church doors opened wide. The music stopped. It was time for the big entrance. I could see Lisa at the door, holding her bouquet, her groom standing beside her, the cameras ready. Something inside me refused to stay hidden any longer. I opened the car door and stepped out. One of the ushers gasped. Another tried to block my way, but I walked past him. My heart was beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. My slippers tapped softly on the tiles as I walked toward the church. Then I reached the entrance. The doors swung fully open. Every single person turned and stared at me. The groom's mother raised her hand to her mouth. People whispered. The cameraman lowered his camera. Someone in the front row muttered, "Is that her mother?" Lisa saw me. Her face changed. Her eyes turned hard and cold, and her lips pressed into a straight line. Right there, at the door of her own wedding, my daughter opened her mouth and said something that cut through my heart like a knife. But before I tell you what she said, let me take you back to where it all started. 3 months earlier, I was sitting on the small wooden chair in my kitchen, stirring a pot of soup. The roof of my old house leaked when it rained, and the walls were cracked, but it was my home. I was humming a hymn when my phone rang. "Hello, Mom." It was Lisa. Her voice sounded bright and excited. "My daughter," I said, smiling. "How are you?" "I'm fine. I have big news. Can I come over later?" "Of course, I will cook your favorite," I said. "Akro soup, yes." She laughed. "You know me too well." When she arrived, she was not alone. A tall young man with smooth hair and shiny shoes followed behind her. He wore a clean suit, even though it was a hot day. He shook my hand carefully, like he did not want to get dirty. "Mom, this is Daniel," Lisa said. "My fiancé." Fiancé. The word made my heart jump. I had waited many years to hear that. I wiped my hands on my wrapper and smiled. "You are welcome, my son. Sit down." We ate together. I watched the way Lisa looked at him, and I was happy. But as we ate, I noticed small things. Daniel looked around my tiny house with a careful smile, like he was trying not to show his true feelings. When a drop of water fell from the leaking roof into his plate, he moved the plate without a word, but his eyes said enough. He kept calling me ma'am instead of mom. It sounded cold. Later, when Lisa went to the kitchen to bring more water, Daniel leaned closer to me. "Lisa tells me you raised her alone," he said. "That must have been hard." "It was," I answered. "But God helped me and she turned out well." He nodded, but his eyes were still moving around the room, judging every crack, every old chair, every faded curtain. I could feel it. That night, after he left, Lisa sat beside me. "Mom, you know Daniel's family is different," she said slowly. "They are rich. They are used to a certain lifestyle." I kept quiet and listened. "They can be a little particular," she added. "About image, about how things look." "What are you trying to say, Lisa?" I asked. She took a deep breath. "I just need you to trust me for the wedding. I don't want any problem." "Problem?" I felt a small pain in my chest. "From who? From me?" "No, Mom, not you," she said quickly, but her eyes avoided mine. "From the way people talk. I just want everything to look perfect. For once in my life, I want things to look perfect." I went to bed that night with a heavy heart. I remembered the days I carried her on my back, walked long distances to the market, sold vegetables under the hot sun just to pay her school fees. I did not care how I looked then. All I wanted was for her to have a better life. Now it sounded like that better life did not have space for me. Weeks passed. Wedding plans grew bigger and bigger. Lisa was always talking about halls, flowers, photographers, and cake. She visited more, but each time I felt her moving further away from me in her heart. One evening, about a month before the wedding, she came alone. She did not sit down. Her face looked tight and worried. "Mom, I need to talk to you," she said. "Sit, my child," I replied. "What is it?" She stayed standing. "Daniel's mother came to see me today," she said. "We talked about the wedding, about the guest list, about family." Something inside me went cold. "What about family?" I asked. Lisa swallowed hard. Her eyes were shiny with tears, but she held them back. "Mom," she said, her voice shaking, "they do not want you to sit in the front at the wedding." The words felt like stones hitting my chest. "They do not want you to sit in the front at the wedding." I stared at my daughter, my own child. The same child I had carried on my back when she was small, the one I had stayed awake for on nights she had fever, the one I had sacrificed everything to raise. Now she stood there, afraid to even look at me directly. "Where do they want me to sit?" I asked quietly. She looked down at the floor. "Somewhere at the back, just for appearance." Appearance. A simple word, but it cut deeper than a knife. "Because of my clothes?" I asked. "Because of my old house, because I am not rich." "Mom, please don't make this harder," she whispered. "They said their friends might talk." I closed my eyes. I felt the sting of tears, but I held them back. Crying in front of her would make me feel small, and I did not want that. "So," I said slowly, "I am good enough to raise you, but not good enough to be seen beside you." "Mom, that's not what I mean," she said, stepping closer. "I love you, you know that, but this wedding is important for my future. Daniel's family is watching everything. Their business partners will be there. It's big, Mom, bigger than anything we've done before." I did not answer, not at first. I just sat there, watching the girl I had raised now talk about me like a problem she needed to manage. She reached out to hold my hand, but I moved it away gently. "I understand," I said, even though, deep inside, I did not. She left my house that evening with her head bent. I watched her walk away, her shoulders tight with guilt, but guilt could not change what she had said. The seed was already planted. The next few days felt slow. I tried to smile. I cooked. I swept my yard. I washed my clothes. But my mind was heavy. Every time I thought about the wedding, my chest felt tight. Finally, 1 week before the ceremony, Lisa came again. This time she was in a hurry, carrying a list and a purse. "Mom, I just need you to wear something simple on the wedding day," she said. "Nothing too bright. Daniel's family prefers neutral colors," they said. "They said again," I interrupted, my voice sharper than I intended. She froze. "Mom." "My child," I said, "if you want me to come, I will come. If you want me to sit at the back, I will sit. If you want me to hide, I will hide. But tell me the truth. What do you want?" Lisa's face changed. She rubbed her forehead, stressed. "I want everything to go smoothly," she said. "Daniel's mother has planned this wedding for months. She wants no surprises." I nodded slowly. "No surprises." "Please," she whispered, "just follow what we planned." I didn't say yes, but I also didn't say no. The wedding day arrived faster than I expected. I woke up early, bathed, oiled my skin, and wore my best dress. It was cream-colored and ironed neatly. I tied my headscarf well. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't look rich. I didn't look new. But I looked like a mother ready to support her child. When I reached the church compound, everything looked expensive. White flowers everywhere, golden chairs, a long red carpet. People were taking pictures, smiling widely. But the moment I stepped out of the taxi, someone approached me. It was one of Daniel's relatives, a young man with a stiff smile. "Auntie, welcome," he said quickly. "Lisa said you should sit in the car until she comes." "In the car," I repeated. "Yes, she will send for you when it's time." I nodded slowly and walked toward the car. I sat down and closed the door. As I sat there looking at all the shiny things outside, a sharp pain went through my heart. Not physical pain, emotional, like something was breaking inside me. Then, something unexpected happened. Two women walked past and whispered loudly, thinking I could not hear. "Who is she?" "That's the bride's mother." "Inside the car. Why?" "Maybe they don't want her seen." Their laughter was soft, but it felt like thunder in my ears. I turned my face away, so they couldn't see the tear that escaped. I wiped it quickly. I refused to cry. Minutes passed, then an hour. People kept walking by, some tried not to look at me, others stared a little too long. My daughter did not come. The music began, the wedding was starting. Still, no one called me. My heart grew heavy, heavier than I could bear. I placed my hand on my chest, trying to calm myself. Then, without warning, something happened that changed everything. A loud argument began near the church door. Voices rose, heads turned. Even from the car, I could hear someone shouting Lisa's name. People ran toward the entrance. Guests stood up from their seats inside. Something big was happening. And it had everything to do with me. The shouting at the church entrance grew louder. Even from the car, I could hear Lisa's name being called again and again. People rushed toward the big doors, some standing on tiptoe just to see what was happening. My heart beat fast. Something inside me said the truth. This trouble has my name on it. I opened the car door slowly and stepped out. The sun was sharper now, and the crowd looked bigger. Everyone was focused on the commotion near the entrance. I took a few steps forward, trying to see clearly. Then I saw her. Lisa. She stood at the door in her white dress, her veil pushed back, her hair slightly messy. Her face was red, not from crying but from anger. Daniel stood beside her, confused, trying to calm her down. Around them, people whispered. Lisa was pointing at someone. I moved closer, and then I saw who it was. Daniel's mother. The elegant woman in a shiny gold gown was shouting back at Lisa. Her perfect makeup looked cracked with anger. Her hands were shaking as she waved them in the air. I said what I said, Daniel's mother yelled. You should have controlled your mother better. I told you to keep her away from the entrance. People gasped. Lisa looked like she might explode. She is my mother, she shouted. You don't talk about her like that. The crowd went silent. I froze in the middle of the walkway. For weeks I had heard Lisa defend Daniel's family. For weeks she had told me what they wanted. But here she was, fighting for me. Daniel looked uncomfortable. His father whispered something to him. I didn't hear the words, but I saw Daniel nod slightly. Then Daniel took Lisa's arm. Let's just calm down, he said. Your mom shouldn't come in through the front. We agreed. This is the plan. Lisa pulled her arm away sharply. Why? She snapped. Why can't my own mother walk into my wedding like everyone else? Daniel looked embarrassed. Lisa, please, don't make a scene. Lisa laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. It sounded like someone breaking inside. Oh, I'm already making a scene, she said. Your mother insulted mine. Your family shoved her into a car like she was a burden, and I'm the one making a scene. Daniel's mother lifted her chin. If your mother wanted respect, she should dress better, act better, and look better. We cannot afford shame today. My heart felt like it had stopped beating. I did not move. I could not breathe. The world around me went quiet. It felt like the wind itself stopped moving. Lisa turned slowly. Her eyes found me. When she saw me standing there, her whole face changed. Mom, she whispered. People followed her gaze. Guests turned one by one until all eyes were on me again. But this time it wasn't the slow judgment I had felt earlier. This time it was shock. Because they realized I had heard everything. Lisa rushed toward me, her dress dragging behind her. She held my hands tightly. Mom, I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't want you to hear that. I was trying to protect you. Protect me. From what? From who? But I didn't say anything. I simply looked at her, my own child, trembling in front of me. Daniel and his family stood by the door, staring. His mother looked angry, not ashamed. Daniel looked tired and confused. Guests leaned forward, waiting to see what would happen. The whispering was loud, too loud. It felt like knives cutting the air. Lisa wiped her face. "Mom, please come inside with me. Sit in the front. Walk with me. Don't let them treat you like nothing." Her voice cracked. "Please, Mom," she begged. "Walk with me." My lips trembled, but before I could answer, something sharp and cold hit my heart. A memory flashed in my mind. Lisa telling me to stay in the car. Lisa saying I should wear simple clothes. Lisa saying her future depended on appearances. I pulled my hands away from her gently. "Lisa," I said softly, "is this what you truly want or what they told you to want?" She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She closed her eyes tightly, and tears rolled down her cheeks. Behind her, Daniel's mother muttered, "We're wasting time. The pastor is waiting." Daniel looked at me, then at Lisa. "We need to start," he said. "People are watching." I felt something deep and strong rise inside me, something I had held down for too long. My voice came out firm. "Is this the family you want to marry into, Lisa?" I asked. "A family that thinks your own mother is shameful." The crowd froze. Lisa covered her mouth, crying harder. Daniel took a step forward. "Mrs. Thomas," he said, "this is not the place." I lifted my hand slightly, stopping him mid-sentence. "Young man, don't talk to me now." He stepped back, surprised. People murmured. Cameras were recording. Whispers filled the air. Then, suddenly, the church doors behind us burst open. A security guard rushed out, looking stressed. "Please," he shouted. "Something has happened at the altar." Everyone gasped. Guests stood. Cameras turned. The security guard's shout carried across the whole compound. "Something has happened at the altar." The words made people panic. Guests inside the church stood up, trying to look over each other. Those outside hurried toward the entrance. Even the choir stopped singing. The air felt tight, like the whole place was holding its breath. Lisa grabbed my arm. "Mom, let's go inside, please." I followed her, but my heart was still heavy. Daniel and his parents walked ahead quickly, whispering to each other. The security guard motioned for everyone to calm down, but it didn't work. People were pushing, trying to see what caused the shout. When we entered the church, the smell of flowers and perfume mixed with fear. The decorated aisle that looked beautiful earlier now felt like a road of tension. I held onto the pew for balance as we moved forward. Then I saw him. The pastor. He was leaning against the altar table, breathing heavily. Two ushers were trying to help him. His face looked pale. The microphone lay on the floor beside him, and the holy book had fallen open. "What happened?" Daniel asked. One of the ushers said. He felt dizzy suddenly. He almost collapsed. The guests started talking loudly again. Some women shouted prayers. One man fanned the pastor with a program booklet. Daniel's mother folded her hands. "This is bad luck," she whispered under her breath. Lisa turned sharply. "Mom, stop saying things like that. It's just heat." But Daniel's mother continued louder. "First, drama at the entrance. Now the pastor nearly collapses. This is not how a wedding should start." Several guests looked at her disapprovingly, but she didn't care. The pastor finally sat down on a chair. Sweat was dripping down his forehead, but he smiled weakly. "I'm all right," he said softly. "Just a little dizzy, too much heat." But even he didn't sound convinced. A few minutes passed before he asked for water. Everyone was watching closely, almost forgetting there had been shouting outside just minutes earlier. Then something unexpected happened. A woman from the second row stood up. She was wearing a purple dress and holding a small handbag. She walked straight to the front, her face serious. "Pastor," she said, "before this wedding continues, something must be cleared." The church went silent instantly. Her voice echoed through the whole hall. Lisa looked confused. Daniel frowned. Daniel's mother shifted uncomfortably. The woman continued, "There is too much tension here, too much anger, too much disrespect. and a wedding built on that will not stand. People whispered again. Lisa leaned close to me. Who is she? I didn't know. The woman turned around and faced the crowd. I'm not here to embarrass anyone, she said, but I saw something outside that cannot be ignored. I saw how the bride's mother was treated. My heart jumped. She lifted her chin. This woman, she pointed directly at me, was left in the car like she was nothing, like she didn't raise the bride, like she didn't sacrifice, and the groom's family stood by and allowed it. Gasps filled the room. Daniel's mother looked ready to explode. Who are you? She snapped. Mind your business. The woman in purple didn't flinch. I am a marriage counselor. Pastor invited me earlier to speak a blessing at the reception, and I'm telling you now, this is not how you start a home. Lisa's eyes were wet again. She held my hand tightly. Daniel looked frustrated. This is not necessary, he said. It's our wedding, not yours. She faced him. Yes, and your marriage is already shaking before it even begins. Everyone stared. The woman took a breath and faced the pastor. Sir, this wedding cannot continue until the bride honors her mother properly, the woman who gave her life, love, and strength. The pastor nodded weakly. She has a point, he whispered. Daniel's mother shouted, This is ridiculous. We planned everything. Who is this stranger to stop my son's wedding? But the woman in purple raised her hand calmly. If the bride's own mother is not respected today, what future does this marriage have? The tension grew heavier. The guests turned to Lisa, waiting. The entire church felt like a courtroom. Lisa let go of my hand and stepped forward slowly. Her white dress glowed under the lights. Tears fell down her cheeks. She looked at Daniel. Did you know your mother told me to hide mine? Daniel hesitated. Lisa, you agreed with the plan. No, she whispered. I followed it because I was scared of your family. I wanted peace, but I've never felt more ashamed in my life. Daniel's face hardened. Lisa, don't do this now. She faced his mother. You insulted my mother. You judged her clothes, her house, her life. You made me feel like she was something to hide. Daniel's mother's eyes widened. I did what was best for appearances, for our reputation. Lisa's voice rose. And what about my heart? What about my own mother's dignity? The woman in purple stepped back, giving Lisa space. Lisa turned around to face me. Mom, I've been unfair to you. I wanted Daniel's family to accept me. I thought if everything looked perfect, my life would finally be different. A tear dropped onto her dress. But I forgot something important. I forgot the person who made me who I am. I forgot the woman who worked day and night to raise me alone. I forgot you. My chest tightened. My eyes filled with tears, but I didn't let them fall. Lisa's next words shook the entire church. Mom, if you don't walk me down this aisle, I'm not getting married today. The entire church gasped. Daniel's mother shouted, Lisa, have you lost your mind? But Lisa ignored her. The guests whispered loudly. The pastor held his breath. The woman in purple quietly stepped aside. Daniel looked at Lisa in disbelief. You can't be serious. Lisa wiped her cheeks and stood strata. Mom walks with me, or no wedding. Just as the room broke into chaos, something even more shocking happened. Daniel raised his voice and said the words that changed everything about the day. Then maybe this wedding shouldn't happen at all. The church froze. Daniel's words hit the room like a hammer. Then maybe this wedding shouldn't happen at all. People gasped. Someone dropped a handbag. The choir whisper-shouted among themselves. Even the pastor sat up strata, his dizziness forgotten for a moment. Lisa stood still, her eyes wide. What did you say? Daniel ran his hand through his hair, frustrated. Lisa, look at what's happening. This is supposed to be a wedding, not a battlefield. If you're going to let one moment ruin everything, maybe we're not ready. One moment. He called disrespecting a mother. One moment. My heart sank. Lisa wiped the tears on her cheeks with shaky hands. Daniel, I stood beside you. I changed things for you. I bent myself for your family. But the second I ask for my mother to be respected, you threaten to walk away." Daniel's mother stepped in quickly. "Don't twist his words, Lisa. He is trying to save this day from becoming a disaster." Lisa snapped her head toward her. "This day became a disaster the moment you decided my mother was not good enough." Her voice echoed through the hall. I watched her. The girl I thought had drifted away was fighting harder than ever, but I could see fear in her eyes. Fear of losing the man she thought she loved. Fear of making the biggest decision of her life in front of a whole church. Daniel sighed loudly. "So what do you want? To embarrass my family? To make us look bad in front of everyone?" Lisa's voice softened. "No, I want a marriage where my mother is not treated like trash." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "I never said." "Your silence said everything," she whispered. The pastor finally stood. His voice was weak but steady. "My children, weddings reveal truths. Sometimes truth is painful. But you must decide if you are marrying each other or marrying each other's families." His words floated through the hall. Lisa turned toward me. "Mom, I don't know what to do." For a moment, the world slowed. I saw my daughter trembling. I saw Daniel looking away. I saw his mother clutching her purse with an angry face. I saw guests holding their breath. I walked toward Lisa, step by step. My heart was calm now, not angry, not broken, just clear. I held her hands gently. "My child, love without respect is not love. Marriage without dignity is not a marriage. I don't want you to fight for me. I want you to see clearly." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I'm sorry, Mom," she whispered. "I should have never let it get this far." I nodded. We all learn, even parents. Daniel stepped forward a little. "Lisa, we can still fix this." Lisa looked at him with tired eyes. "Daniel, if your family cannot respect mine today, they never will." Silence. Deep, painful silence. Daniel's mother scoffed loudly. "Lisa, be reasonable." Lisa looked at her calmly. "Ma'am, I don't want to start a marriage where I must choose between my husband and my mother every day." Daniel's jaw tightened. "So, what now?" Lisa took a slow breath. "Now I choose peace." Daniel frowned. "Meaning?" She looked down at the ring on her finger. The ring she had admired for months. Slowly, with shaking fingers, she slid it off. Gasps filled the church like a wave. Lisa held the ring out. "Daniel, I'm giving this back." Daniel stared at her. "You're ending this over this." Lisa shook her head. "I'm ending this because I finally realized my worth and my mother's worth." Daniel didn't take the ring. He just stepped back, shocked. Lisa walked to the pastor's table and placed the ring there gently. Then she walked back to me and hugged me tightly, like she was hugging years of regret, fear, and love all at once. "I'm sorry, Mom," she cried into my shoulder. "I'm so sorry." I held her. "It's all right, my child. Losing a wedding is not the end of your life. Losing yourself is." People began clapping softly, then louder, not for a wedding, but for a woman who chose dignity. The woman in the purple dress nodded with pride. The pastor sighed with relief. Guests whispered about courage and strength. Daniel and his mother walked out angrily, not looking back. Lisa and I walked slowly toward the exit. Outside, the sun felt soft on our faces. The breeze was gentle. It felt like a new beginning. As we reached the gate, Lisa stopped and held my hands. "Mom, what now?" I smiled softly. "Now you breathe, now you heal, and one day you will find someone who loves you and respects where you come from." She leaned her head on my shoulder as we walked away from the broken wedding behind us. But one thing was clear. My daughter did not lose her life that day. She found it. And for the first time in a long while, we walked forward together, not as a mother hiding in a car, but as two women choosing peace, courage, and self-respect over appearances.